My senior year of college, for all intents and purposes, honestly, was largely non-eventful. So I had a lot of class, right? Like I transferring from UCLA to UCSB did not put me kind of set me back a little bit academically in the sense that I had to repeat a few classes because they weren't accepted for credit. And I had just slammed with upper div labs, is what I remember. Lots of labs. And yeah, I changed my major from biochemistry to chemistry like 2 quarters before graduating, if I remember, because honestly, college was one of the most stressful things I've been through, one of the most difficult things I've been through. It definitely wasn't the best years of my life by any means. And anyway, June, I want to say 8th, early June 2016, I became the first person in my family to graduate from college when I earned my bachelor's degree in chemistry. My family came in for it, for my graduation ceremony, including my grandma. My friends were sitting in the audience with my parents during the ceremony, and it was really special hearing them and my reaction, hearing them describe my parents' reaction when I was crossing the stage. And I've shouted out Chancellor Yang before, and I may have already said this, but it is worth mentioning that Chancellor Yang shook the hands of every single person who graduated. Not only did he shake the hands, but your name came up across the screen. That was very unique to UCSB, and it's something that I really appreciated. Also, the other thing is that during the graduation ceremony, right before it started, Chancellor Henry's wife, Dealing, she literally pointed me out and just to congratulate me, just to give me a hug from like the huge swarm of, again, how many hundreds people were graduating for the College of Letters and Science. That was really special to me. The fact that she took the time, that she remembered me, that was really special. So those are 2 points I want to make. And as I wrap up this series, the crazy thing is that the roller coaster per se goes back up like kind of after this event, with me graduating college, that is, with me getting my first like really solid job after college, still thinking I'm going to go to vet school, moving to Summerland, Donald Trump winning the election the first time, that happened shortly after graduating from college, again, because I was still in that Santa Barbara neighborhood. I was still living in Isla Vista. Yeah, that was all very, very interesting. But again, this series is only up until my graduation from college. And we've gotten to that point. So it's the end of the series. I just have a couple more thoughts that I want to make, a couple more observations, if you will. So much of my stress in college was financial. Like, you can almost say literally all of my stress in college boiled down to some financial factor that was out of my control. And that was really different from my experience during high school. During high school, the things like more money would not have necessarily helped my situation. And I'm not going to go into detail. I promised I wasn't going to go into detail on that in the first episode of this series. And I'm sure as hell not going to do that now that we're at the end of the series. But again, things like paying rent, things like paying groceries, all of a sudden you're slammed with all of that on top of having to take a full course load as a college student, which you thought your AP course load was something like, yeah, compare that to just any college course load while you're on the quarter system, mind you. So not only did I have to work 3 jobs to barely keep afloat during college, but I'm also slammed with a $40,000 student loan fee, right? With a student loan price tag at the end of all of this. So I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't a little bit of, I want to say envy, but I want to feel of a stronger word because it's almost disgust at the students who have the luxury of only having to worry about school, only having to worry about their grades because their mommy and daddy is paying for everything else, right? They're in these white booster societies, or they, again, etc. That was the case at UCLA. Again, not so much at UCSB. But UCSB was still a battle of the privileged. Still, and I'll add this before I make my last point. But what was really frustrating, what I found at UCSB, not so much at UCLA. Everyone at UCLA was very, very insanely intelligent, and I'm not saying that wasn't the case at UCSB, but the case at UCSB was that these kids were more equipped financially. So I oftentimes found the case that I'm more intelligent than you. I just am. Like, that's I don't have to prove that, but you are having a better experience and you're getting by quicker because you don't have half the stress that I have to deal with. And that made me feel some type of way, I'll be honest. The last point I want to make, and I've made this many, many, many times before, and I will continue to make this, just to go back on the debt that I incurred. So a large chunk of that is just purely interest. So I know I've already said this. I literally went to the White House during the Biden administration to say this to Mr. Joe himself. I will not be paying back a single dime of my student loans, okay? I won't be paying back not a single penny, okay? Not when we're forgiving the PPP loans of rich people, not when we're wasting all my tax dollars bombing up the Middle East, okay? You can go get my money from Tel Aviv University, who we happen to have money to give, what was it, $615 million to in only 2023. And yet you want to sit there and ask me for my $40,000 that I had to take out. No, not when you can make it rain on all these other places. Again, I will not be paying back not one single dime of what I had to take out to educate myself and to become the first person in my family to graduate from college. So if you made it to the end of the series, thank you very much. That actually means a lot. If you only watched one of these videos, hey, it is what it is. But I'll see you in a future series.